Hey everyone, welcome to Smash Trivia. I'm your host, Smash Trivia John. You can find me on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram by searching Smash Trivia to follow everything happening with me. I'll be the one with the big old green head in the profile picture. So excited to get into this. This is the Gamma Analysis. Basically, in this series, I'm going to review everything Hulk, all the movies, TV shows, and I also do random other geeky films. Occasionally, not so geeky ones too. And I also like to mix things up once in a while by not reviewing anything. Hope you enjoy Smash Trivia Presents The Gamma Analysis. I want to ask everyone listening if they can please do something for me. Please share the hell out of this podcast with all your friends. If you don't, Hulk will be angry. And Smash Trivia has a Patreon too, so please check that out. We have some fantastic extra content on there. I bet you'll have a Hulk smashing good time. The tiers are as follows: $1 a month is Hulkaholic for $1, $3 a month is the Reading Room with Hulky and Shulky, and $5 a month is Smashing the TV. I also now offer custom trivia games on Fiverr, so if you want to take your game night to the next level, you can hire me. A link to the Fiverr is in the episode description. Now that we have all that important stuff out of the way, let's smash right into this episode. Hello, my Gamma friends, and happy spooky season, everyone. Today I'm joined by Whitney from the Going Merry podcast. How you doing, Whitney?
I'm doing great, John. How are you?
I'm doing good. Today we're gonna be reviewing Night of the Demons.
And what a movie.
Oh yeah, I had a lot of fun with this movie. Um, there are definitely some very big issues with it though. But yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, first, for Alcohol for $1, we have Derek Sager, Gabriel Floral, and Film Critter. Due to the Hollywood strikes, I'm trying not to review any struck work, actually, stuff from the AMPTP. And I believe this film isn't struck, since I don't believe it comes from any of those big companies. Um, and sadly, the studios are being awful and not being willing to negotiate anymore.
Yeah, what a mess. It's like we keep getting little glimmers of
Mm-hmm.
hope and then they're just dashed because we'll get a new
Well,
news segments like, "Oh no, they just walked away. They wouldn't even counter offer."
yeah.
Like, "Come on, guys.
Like
You can afford to pay these people."
what I heard was before they left the negotiating table like last week or whatever it was, like the studio's offer that they tried giving was worse than the one they offered at the beginning of the strike.
Mhm. Right.
Yeah, that's not gonna work.
It's like they think that everyone else is stupid. Like being rich makes you smarter than anyone else. Meanwhile, I saw something earlier that was like the economy in California has lost tons of money because
Oh yeah.
people aren't working. And I mean, for good
Hmm.
reason. But, some actors, I know there's a lot of rhetoric like, well, these actors are millionaires. They don't need to work. A lot of actors do need to work.
Oh yeah.
Not everyone is a millionaire and they're
Yeah,
just
it's
trying
like
to survive.
well, I earlier today I was reading an article on Deadline. There was a guest column piece from Fran
Drescher, yeah, the
Drescher,
nanny.
who is the who is the lead negotiator, I believe. And she had said that I think at 87% of the members aren't able to make enough for their like $20,000 a year healthcare plan.
Yeah.
That's like that really puts into perspective how yeah, no, this is not just this $1 million people who are striking. This is regular people who are not making much money.
Right, and I think that there's, like, a breakdown where people don't view that kind of work as, like, important or essential, or they don't understand why they're striking, and when you put it into context like that, like, they're just trying to afford their health care,
Oh
like, to
yeah,
because some of them aren't eligible for health care through their union because maybe they don't make enough money or whatever reason, but they're just trying to afford to go to the doctor, which is really sad
yeah,
to think that I mean, just think about you, listener, if you've ever struggled to pay your insurance payment or you couldn't afford insurance or how hard it is to go see a doctor when you don't have money, like
Yeah.
and these people, yeah, they're not like doctors and nurses providing life-saving care, but they also like how many people love to watch movies and TV? Everyone,
It's
almost everyone. And I mean, I don't know. I feel like people place importance on
yeah.
occupations in that
Mm,
way, and so they just don't care about this strike, which is
Uh,
kind of a shame to me.
I think it's I think like another part that I think is really sad is like a lot of people don't understand these are absolutely essential jobs because if we just cease to have movies and TV, there's a lot of people who would go deep into depression because of it, and that
Mhm,
and I and just to get and so you would probably end up having sadly a lot more people dying in the world if there wasn't people making entertainment trying to people trying to make people have a little bit of happiness and a little bit of escape from this terrible world we live in.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wish people would draw a line between, like, what they see as these, like, rich fat cat, CEO
Uh,
people, millionaire
uh,
actors. It's
yeah.
so different. It's the CEOs are one thing, and the artists are different.
Oh yeah.
And in the economies that are suffering, like in California, think about all the places even on the East Coast now that film, like in Atlanta,
Hmm.
big filming place. I'm sure that they've suffered quite a bit from that. And I mean, movies and TV employ more than just actors. They employ staff and crew and food caterers and even people in the local towns can benefit from TV sets and movie sets because they put a lot of work into that. So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I hope that
Yeah.
something comes about soon because it's really
Hopefully.
painting Disney and other companies in really bad light.
Yeah, like and it's so crazy to me that they're not willing to try because like they're losing so much money
Mhm,
from not being able to make films. Like I'm pretty sure like I'd read somewhere that like every month that a film is not able to film at a particular set, like they're losing like $100 million or something
mhm.
from it. And it's like because they have to keep renting out that set as long as they're not filming. It's like
Yeah,
you would have you would be losing less money if you just agreed to the actor's demands.
yeah. Well, keep putting the pressure on them.
Mhm.
Strikes are supposed to be inconvenient,
Yeah.
so I feel like people forget that sometimes. Protests and strikes are supposed to be
Mhm.
inconvenient. That's how you get people's attention, so,
Yeah.
um, hoping for the best.
Hopefully. So let's get into this film that we're reviewing.
This
Um,
masterpiece of, art.
so uh, when I say that I really enjoyed this movie, I do not mean that I like the characters in this movie. These characters are awful,
Oh god, they're
awful.
so bad. Everyone is so bad.
Yeah, but what I really like about it is like the vibe of the film of its film of it. It gives off the exact kind of spooky, campy '80s Halloween horror that I love,
Mhm. Oh, yeah. Yeah, me
and I
too.
just really enjoy all of that. Um, yeah, these characters are like I don't know if there was even a single character you really wanted to root for.
Yeah, I know, and it was strange because, like, I guess our central character is he Judy? Was that her name?
I think so.
The girl that's dressed like Alice in Wonderland. She was, I guess, meant to be our main protagonist, but even she really got on my nerves quite a bit. Like, she wasn't really a bad person.
Hmm.
She just made some questionable decisions and, it's
Uh,
easy for us to say, like, when we're not in that situation, what we would do. But I'm like, "Girl, get off the floor, run, stop standing there and screaming, let's go." But, everyone else in
and
this town is an asshole.
like it's absolutely insane that because she would have sex with her boyfriend, he just locked her in a room.
Yeah,
Great.
terrible
Yeah.
human.
Like,
It took
seriously.
me a minute to realize that she was locked in. I thought she was just sitting there because she was, like, depressed
Yeah.
and scared, and then when she was like, "Let me out," I'm like, "That douchebag locked
Yeah.
her up in a haunted house, like, to go and
Oh,
sleep with
oh
some
my
other girl."
God. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. The one thing, like, very quickly very quickly into the party that I was like, I got a little bit annoyed at, and um, it's the fact that everyone except for for um the girl that wore the black who was trying to set up these seance,
Yeah, the
like
witchy girl.
everyone was so like resistant to trying to be a part of anything, and it's like you should just you're it's Halloween. You
Mhm.
want spookiness. Why don't you just let yourself get immersed in this experience?
Right, and there was no, like, real connection between why these people were all partying together, because it seemed like everybody thought she was kind of a weirdo, and that it
Hmm.
was gonna be this crazy Halloween party, and it ended up only being, like, 6 or 7 people. So,
Yeah.
I was at this weird, like, expectation the whole time because when, closer to the beginning, when the witchy girl and her friend that was in, like, the pink tutu
Hmm.
we're at the convenience store, and witchy girl stealing all the stuff while the pink tutu girl was, like, showing her butt cheeks to the
Hmm.
cashiers to distract them, um, and they left, and she was like, "We're gonna scare the hell out of them tonight," and I was like, "Are
Yeah.
they playing a joke? Like, are they" like, I thought maybe it wasn't gonna be
I was like,
real
yeah,
for a second, but that didn't happen. Like,
it's
everything was
weird.
really
I really wonder what the joke they're planning on playing on them was. Was it that they were just going to have a lame party and that was gonna be the joke?
yeah. I guess just be
Yeah.
creepy. They're in a haunted
Like,
funeral home. It's creepy. I don't know.
yeah. Um, I did. I thought I saw I know related to that scene that I saw on IMDb that I found really funny. So apparently, the actress who played the girl in the tutu, who was like she went to screenings of the film to watch it with fans, and like every time she would just get so embarrassed because the first time I see her in the film is her bare ass.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
I can imagine. I wonder
oh
what that must be like for people who know that, like, their bare bodies have been on
yeah,
screen and,
it's
like, their parents may see it or something, which I guess
so
some people don't care, but
yeah, it's so it also said on it also said on IMDb that she apparently had previously been a nude model, so I'm
Mhm.
not sure why she had a problem, particularly this scenario.
I don't know.
But then, so there's a lot of trivia about the film involving her, and her body. They also mentioned in the trivia how, um, I think Steve Johnson, and I believe it's the person who did the like effects for the film,
Mhm.
and they said in the trivia that he and her met when he created her prosthetic breast for the as for
Oh,
the lipstick scenes,
yeah. Oh.
and
That one makes me hurt.
they later got married.
Oh. Well,
Yeah.
that's sweet.
Yeah,
How nice.
I cannot imagine as it being a like visual effects or whatever person working on a movie, and the first time I meet someone is to do a side like that, and then getting married to them afterwards. That like you have to really hit it off in that
Yeah.
meeting for that to happen.
I guess you just, like, you gotta treat it like a job. It's the same
Yeah.
as, like, when you're an actor and you have to do a sex scene with someone and it's
Hmm.
awkward and weird, but
Yeah.
sometimes romance blooms out of that. I don't know. Um, I wanna talk about the intro to this movie. It was insane and I loved it. I feel like this came out in 88, right?
Something like
Is that
that.
right?
Yeah, it's around
Um,
then.
so like a year after I was born. And I've never seen this movie before, but the whole intro, which is quite long, I thought it was a
Yeah.
pretty long intro, and it was all animated, which I thought was
Hmm.
interesting. But it had this really cool, like, 80s new wave music, which I'm a huge fan of in general.
Nice.
I just thought it sounded so cool, but it almost reminded me a little bit of, like, Nightmare Before Christmas, like, the scenes of Halloween Town, like, the cemeteries and stuff
Oh,
and the little flying demons. I just thought that was so cool looking. But the effects in this movie, like, the prosthetics, I guess, like, when the people were turning into demons, I
oh,
thought was pretty
oh,
good.
yeah. Yeah, those
Um
are pretty cool looking effects and like some pretty gruesome looking effects.
Yeah. Like said, lipstick, boob.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh
well,
my
that was
goodness.
so weird. Like
Ooh,
when I was watching, I was like, "How does that work?" It's
it
just
took
like,
me a minute.
did they have on this prosthetic? Was it like a slit in it that they could and push the lipstick through, or what? That was so weird.
Yeah, like a little cap. Like you lift it and
Like,
put the lipstick in and then put it back down. Which I kind of assumed because it had shown that she had broken the mirror in the bathroom, and I thought when she was tracing her finger down her chest, I thought she was gonna, like, cut her boob off, and I was like, "Okay, you know, a demon would do something weird like that," but then I noticed it was lipstick, and I was like, "Okay, well, she's just being weird because she was putting
yeah,
her
just
makeup
being
on."
weird.
And then, boop, there it goes, disappears. Wow, what a time. Yeah.
And not only that, but this demon apparently is very sensitive about how they look because because
Yeah.
they were very angry that the guy was looking at her while they were having sex. Like, okay.
Okay, don't look at me. That's how I feel most days when I'm not wearing makeup. Don't look at me.
Oh man. One
Um,
thing,
lot of, like, weird body talk that I didn't expect in this movie. Like, I know that
yeah.
scary movies sometimes are, a little vulgar, which I don't mind. I
Mhm.
watched a ton of scary movies, but, um, the one that kinda caught me by surprise was the little brother, the
Yeah.
main
I was like,
character's little brother.
whoa.
He pops out of the closet and scares his sister. She's wearing a bra and maybe pants or underwear or something, I don't remember, and he's like, "Bodacious boobies, sis." Like, "What?"
He
Like, I don't have a
mentioned
brother, but
okay.
I feel like that would make
That
me
kid
really uncomfortable.
That kid mentioned her breast multiple times. So
Yeah.
there was another scene where he does that. I'm like, why are you so obsessed with your own sister's breast? That's so weird.
I mean, you are like a pubescent boy, so I get your fascination with boobs, but, like, and he also asks, maybe the boyfriend or the guy she's going out with, he's like, "Do you like her or do you just like her huge boobs?" Or
Yeah,
something like that.
that's what I was talking about. The other scene. I'm like, what? Why are you so obsessed with those? I was
It's just
like,
boobs on the brain. It reminds me of, have you seen Hocus Pocus, the original?
yeah,
When, uh, the little sister is like, Max likes your what does she call him? Wabos or something like that? But that's not her own
no.
sibling, so
Yeah.
that's a little and she's just, like, teasing her brother. It's not like,
Mhm.
"Wow, sis, nice boobs." Like,
Like, yeah.
it's so weird.
Uh, yeah. Wow, that and like not only was he being very weird about his sister, but also he was just such an asshole kid.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure one scene he insulted his mom's food.
Oh, yeah.
She was
It did
making. It
kinda
was
look
like
like
really,
dog turds, though.
and then and as the guy walked away from him. He called the guy the F slur, which was just like
Did
wow.
he?
Yeah,
I missed that.
yeah. As the
Oh, what a
as
bad kid. Shame.
uh like damn, that kid was just so bad. One thing that I really enjoyed. So they at the start of the film we see this old man and the
No.
and at first I was I felt a little bad for him because
Yeah.
these people were being jerks to him. Immediately we find out he puts razor blades in apples. No longer
Yeah.
feel bad for him, and then we don't
Yeah.
see him for the rest of the movie till the
The whole movie.
very end. And there was the absolutely perfect ending for the film of having him eat this apple pie that I
Yeah.
made from his razor blade apples.
So good. And I wonder, like, what life his wife had been living to where she was like, "Yes, this is what needs to happen. This is my perfect opportunity right now." And it kinda made me think of when me, you, and Keith reviewed Midsommar,
Mm.
because I was watching that scene, and when she just kinda checked on him and hugged him a little bit, I was like, "Good for her." Yeah, good for her. I'm okay with this.
I love how right afterwards she just whispers in his ear, "Happy Halloween."
Happy Halloween. Drink my coffee.
Oh man.
Oh, and I wonder, like, is that what would really happen if you ate a razor blade? Like, that seemed very forceful to me.
Um, I
Like,
don't know.
I don't know.
I also so I've heard or throughout my life in my childhood when at Halloween's like how your parents had to check your candy because there's a possibility of razor blade.
Yeah.
I honestly wonder how likely it is that someone actually would have something like that in the candy. I feel like it's not that likely.
Yeah, I've read that in the past that that's just it's one of those. I'm sure somebody's tried something stupid like that in the
Hmm.
past, but very, very overblown. Kind of like, be careful, they're gonna give your kids drugs on Halloween. Listen, if you know people that are on drugs, they're not gonna give away their
Yeah. Oh
drugs
yeah.
to
No.
children or anyone. Drugs cost
I feel
money.
I feel like most parents they the actual reason that they go through all your candy is so that they can take a whole bunch of it for themselves.
Oh, hell yeah. Listen, I'm taking all those Reese cups. Don't even worry about it. You didn't get any Reese cups this year, honey. I don't know. I guess everybody wanted to give you Whoppers, the
Like
best candy.
I when I was a kid, like after we got went out and trick or treat, my dad would go and look through all the candy, and then we would get like maybe an eighth of the amount of candy back afterwards. I'm like, I really
He had
think
a
you're
secret
just
stash.
yeah, I'm pretty sure he was just eating all the candy. Even though this is a guy who always said that he hated chocolate,
Yeah,
but I'm pretty sure he really liked chocolate. Actually, he just didn't want people to know for some reason.
it was a guilty pleasure, maybe. But listen, that's how you teach your kids about taxes, right? Like, you give them the opportunity to go collect things, and then you take some of it without their choice. Like, it's like you learn in the hard way early.
So,
Teach them young. This girl, the witchy girl's friend
mhm,
with the bare butt and the boob lipstick, I'm not sure what her deal was. What a weird person.
mhm.
Even before she became possessed, which I think it's interesting, she was the first person, to
Yeah.
become possessed by this weird dragon-looking thing in the
Mhm.
basement, but, um the funniest thing, I wrote this down in my notes because I just wanted to remember it. I like to be warm, I like a good fireplace, but she's, dancing and everybody's
Yeah.
staring at her, and she goes and sticks her ass up at the fireplace and says, "Just what the doctor ordered." So,
Oh
that's my
God.
goal this winter when my fireplace is on, that's what you'll find me doing, everybody.
Oh, God. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you could tell early on though that boyfriend how he was not gonna be a good guy just because of how he was immediately at the party he was looking at her.
Yeah. Yeah,
Hey,
and it's
oh yeah,
weird because, like, is it Sal, the guy who, like, showed up at her door to take her out, and the little brother was like, "I'm gonna call my mom,"
that might have been it.
um, and Sal seemed like a total butthole, like, he
Oh
was
yeah.
just the worst, but then, at the party, he was one of the few of the ones I was like, he's okay, like, he's decent. Him and Roger, I liked Roger, after the car scene at the beginning when he was with the pig guy and the
Hmm.
girl that the pig guy was, like,
Yeah,
verbally abusing. Pig guy was the
yeah, I
worst.
didn't. Yeah, I did like Stooge. But
Yeah,
Roger.
stooge.
Yeah, Roger. After that car scene, he was so much better. I was pissed at him in that car scene because he used the R slur.
Yeah, I hate that
Like,
word. That one immediately turned me off. I was like, "Ugh."
great. Oh,
Which
great.
I'm not trying to excuse
You
it. The '80s, I
know,
understand, but it's kinda surprising how recent people have just started to speak up over that. Like, I've always said that that word is so like, just don't use it. It's not nice. It's not accepted anymore. But even just going back and watching, like, early 2000s movies sometimes,
mhm.
I'm like, "Whoa,
You
what
know,
were we doing?" You know?
yeah, it's the weird thing for me is I like anything that is old. I absolutely have a problem hearing it. But then, and I think a lot of like newer things, if they're in it, I don't have as much of a problem because I feel like, because I get the feel that it is supposed to be the character and it's not just how they talked, how
There's
people
usually a
talk in real
reason
life.
for it,
Yeah,
right? It's
it's
not
not
just supposed
like
to be funny,
yeah,
like a joke.
um, I recently watched this animated web series is I don't know what was it called. I I can't remember what it was called, but it was basically about these demons in hell that hell that they are they get to kill people on Earth by mercenary contract act. Like
Hmm,
if someone screwed over or you and you end up dying because of it, you could go to them and pay them to kill the person who screwed you over. And
huh.
these characters and the main character in that he says the R slur in that, and I didn't have a problem with it in that because I know this is a demon. This isn't just how normal people are supposed to be. This is
Right.
so I feel like it's different now when you hear it in films versus if you watch signs that's older and and because with anything that's older it just feels like this is just how people talked back then and they think this is okay. It's like versus
Right.
now it is particularly this is a bad guy that we're watching, and this is part of how you know it's a bad guy.
Yeah, it's like part of their character development.
Hmm.
Yeah, I can and I feel like for the most part, we're smarter now and more compassionate. I know it doesn't seem like it when we watch the news and we read Twitter or whatever, but I feel like
Yeah.
Hollywood at least is a bit more tolerant and
Hmm.
yeah, clever about those kind of things. Speaking of things that I wasn't a huge fan of as far as culturally, I hated that they used indigenous culture to kind of explain that the house was weird even before the house was built, like that the land was
Uh,
it's kinda like that
mhm.
trope, like Poltergeist, like, "This was an Indian burial ground," is what they said. I don't like to I mean, it's native or
Mhm.
indigenous, but, and they even used this, like, generic native sounding music during that scene, and I kinda just cringed a little bit, like,
I
"Did
can
we
see
have to
that.
throw that in there?" Like, could we just be like,
Mhm.
"Yeah, the funeral director was a weird guy, and he was a necrophiliac, and that's why there's demons." That could have been just fine. I feel
Yeah.
like, that would have been an okay or an okay explanation for me,
Mhm. Oh,
but, that's
uh,
a lot of people like to do that, they like to use ancient
sadly,
history to explain creepy things, so
sadly, well, real quick, going back to Roger, one thing that I liked that they did is they did not fall into the trope of the black guy dies first.
yeah, fair.
Because I'm pretty sure that is like a trope in a lot of horror films.
Yeah, that's very true, especially for a movie that took place in the '80s, and they didn't even really make a big deal about him being black, even though he was
Hmm.
the only person of color in the friend group.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just and which is how it should be, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it shouldn't even be brought up,
Hmm.
or I think the only thing they said when he got scared, they were like, "Ha ha, you're white as a ghost," which it was a very quick little,
Hmm.
reference, but, I didn't really take that as them being racist. I
Yeah.
think they were just joking with him and making fun of him for being scared, but yeah, I mean, that's a good point. Um, or that, like, what was it? The, did you ever see Deep Blue Sea, the one about the sharks?
I don't think I've seen that now.
Um, they basically, like, genetically engineer sharks to treat, like, Alzheimer's from some kind of chemical in their brain, and the sharks, of course, get too smart and, of course, attack, right? But there's, LL Cool J is in that movie, and I'm gonna spoil it a little bit, but he, survives, and so they were like he was, like, one of the first Black people in a, like, thriller horror movie to survive to the end. So I think you're right. I like that they, didn't use his color of
Yeah.
skin, for that, so
One thing I found very interesting and all strange. Yeah, you mentioned how the girl in the tutu, she was the first person who got possessed. It's
Mhm.
interesting to me how they didn't then have her be the leader of the possessed people. They went it kind of felt like the leader of the possessed people was the girl in the black, and
Right.
which makes me think, why didn't they just have her be the first one unpossessed?
I don't know, that's a really good question. Because it seemed like the transfer I guess they kissed, I think is how,
uh,
um,
I think
the
it's
witch
I
girl.
think it's just supposed to be kind of like any physical contact can cause you to you become possessed. I'm guessing.
Mhm. Yeah, because there was see, I'm trying to think of what the other ones were, because I don't know that it really showed it for some of them.
Like,
Uh, like the guy the boyfriend who got his eyes poked out,
mhm.
I don't know, I mean, I guess they were kissing at some point, but I don't know
Uh,
if that happened then.
the main reason I say I don't think it was particularly kissing because is because um the two people who were having sex in the coffin, they got transformed into possessed people,
Mhm.
and they definitely did not kiss a who had been possessed. They just had their they just one of them just had their necks neck turned around, and the other had his arm crushed
Oh, yeah,
by the coffin.
and just thinking of the mechanics of that too, I'm like,
Yeah.
how hard would you have to do that with a coffin? Because they're not particularly
Oh
sharp,
yeah.
but they are heavy. So that just sounds like one of the most painful
Oh,
things
I
that you can
bet.
experience.
I
Um,
bet.
it was funny when they ran into the room and you saw those two rise up from the coffin as demons, and they put on the most spectacular acting you've ever seen in your life. It was almost like if you go to an amusement park or something and you see people pretending to be zombies, they just kind of stare and go, "Ah." And it cracked me up. I was like, "Well, they don't even look scary. They look normal still." They didn't have the creepy makeup that everybody else
Oh, yeah.
had.
Oh, one thing that I was very surprised by how good it looked is when we saw the guy's severed arm grab
Yeah,
someone like for the 80s that looked really good.
it did look really good, and she kicked it away and it just kind of flopped around, so, I mean,
Mhm.
I think a lot of time and care was taken into making that arm.
Oh yeah. He, even though there is so many problems with this film, I kind of want to go and watch the sequels that exist for it. Because of that the spooky vibe that I really enjoyed in it.
Mhm. Yeah, I saw that there was a number 2. Do you know how many there are?
I'm not sure. I think there's more than two at least. Let me see.
I might do that as well. I really liked when the demon was first coming out of was he in the oven or the oven that they climb in at the end? He comes out of this, like, door thing in the basement, but you
Yeah.
see it from his point of view that he's, like, traveling all around the house, and I thought that was a really good shot,
Hmm. Oh
and
yeah.
really clever to
So,
do because it ends up with the girl, the boob lipstick girl, and I thought that was a really neat way to do that to kinda save from having to show the actual demon traveling through the house, and it
mhm.
was kinda creepier, I
Oh yeah.
think, in that way.
So there is a trilogy of them, the original, and then there's a reboot that came out in 2009.
Oh, I was gonna say this would be a good, remake movie, as long as it's not, like, super CGI'd, you know?
Uh,
We'll have to find the
oh,
2009 one.
you know, until they actually like later in the film, made a point to say it was a cremation oven.
Mhm.
I was really thinking it was like just like a portal to hell or sign that was in the basement.
That would have been
Um,
kinda cool, yeah.
which like I actually have like a theory of maybe like what happened before all of this that actually made the demons coming. Yeah. So I'm thinking it might have been in sort of both all like but it was sort of like maybe sort of thing. I mean, like the caretaker here maybe had a deal with the demons in hell, and he would sacrifice people in the cremation thing, and their souls
Mm,
instantly get sent to hell,
nice.
and maybe he stopped opt getting giving them souls, and so they and since they can only come out on Halloween for a while, he might have thought he was fine till finally on Halloween they came out and killed him and his family.
Yeah, maybe so. Because they mentioned that, like, he killed them all and then killed himself, right? Was that the story? So
I
that could have
think
been, like,
possibly.
demonic possession, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, he went crazy. Well, actually, he was possessed. Yeah. That's a pretty good
Yeah.
theory. Maybe they'll build on that in the sequels. We need to
Yeah.
watch those.
Yeah.
And maybe it does turn out to be a portal
Yeah.
to hell.
Because like I was very much wondering like I throughout the film. Why is it that that's where the demon came from? Unless it
Mhm.
was saying it's supposed to be something actually connected to hell.
Right. And it was I've never heard that saying before that demons couldn't cross running water.
Yeah, no, I haven't
Um,
either.
but I think it was neat that it was kind of good storytelling, and that part of the writing was good that they mentioned that very early on, because when they mentioned it, I was like, "That's gonna be important later," and it was. I
Well,
think it was
I don't
interesting
know
that
if they actually explained what happened to the gate of how it disappeared.
that's exactly what I was getting ready to say. It was so weird that the gate disappeared. Like, how are they able to do that? Like, if
Uh,
that's where the running water is, how can they
mhm,
affect that at all? That was weird. But, there had to be a way they couldn't escape, right? Because
mhm.
Roger was, like, out of there
Yeah,
very early, him and the other girl that I didn't know, but, um, they could have made it out easily if the gate had not disappeared.
yeah.
Another thing that came back was the lighter. Did you notice that?
I did not notice it come back. Well, how
So
did it come back?
so the main character, I wanna say Judy, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like it was Judy. She was, like, at the food table, I think, and she
Mhm.
left a lighter laying, and the witchy girl that was throwing the party was like,
Yeah.
"You better not leave that lighter laying there. The ghosts won't like it if you junk up their house." And she picks it back up, I think. And then there at the end is when she uses the lighter to, like, flamethrow
Yes.
the demons, which I
Yeah,
was like, "Is that even gonna work? Work? Because 'Cause they're demons. I mean, wouldn't they be
yeah,
used to fire?"
but also, why was the gas still on at this place?
That's a good
They've
question.
been, if it's been
Thank
closed
goodness
down
she
for many years, I would think that the gas would have been turned off.
you would think so, and I mean, I'm glad she knew how to work everything. She's like, "Get the valve." And I'm like, "I would not have known what to do in this situation," but she knew exactly what they needed to do. But I mean, I guess it was a good like time, like it gave him a little bit more time to get away, but it didn't really
Mm.
work.
Yeah.
Because fire doesn't really affect them. But we kind of knew that already because the witchy girl had stuck her hands
Oh,
in the fire,
oh yeah.
and blistered them up really weird. So I don't know. I guess the only thing that could destroy them is just sunrise,
Mhm.
the end of Halloween.
When Judy falls from the back of the balcony near the end of the film,
Mhm.
was it just is just me? Or did it definitely look like in the actual shot while she was flying, like she was gonna hit a railing?
Oh, yeah. It didn't look like she was gonna make it at all.
Yeah, I was like, it looked like the angle that she was definitely gonna hit a railing versus like when she landed, the railing was just to the side of her, and it was a completely different angle.
She landed perfectly on Roger, and it didn't seem like it was from that high up either, because it was just
Oh
a
yeah,
little tumble.
yeah,
And I was
no,
like, "That probably would have broken some of your bones, girl." Um, but it
uh,
didn't, she was okay. Climbing, I guess it barbed wire that they were holding on to on the wall?
I was thinking it was like supposed to be a stuff that had grown on there that oh
Like
now that got was
thorns?
spicy spiky, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well,
Um,
either way, that one kinda got me a little bit because I was just trying to imagine I couldn't pull myself up there
oh no,
regardless, but having to pull myself up on spikes going into my hands at the same time,
yeah, that
yikes,
would be painful.
yikes.
Uh,
Um,
oh.
back to when, um, I think they were outside at the time, and I can't remember who said it. It may have been the witchy girl was kind of, like, taunting her about dying and not escaping, and it showed Sal, who had landed, I guess, with, like, a spike in his chest or something,
Mhm.
and it
Yeah,
showed his gravestone. Did
I
you read what
love
it
that.
said?
Died
Sal
tonight. I
died
love that.
tonight.
I was
Like
hilarious.
I wonder if that stays there so that, like, on November 1st, if somebody goes in there and looks around, they see that, and it's like, "Tonight? Which
Uh,
tonight?"
yeah,
I just love campy stuff like that, though,
yeah.
you know?
When they had told all the demons to go to hell, and the demons' response was no, not tonight. I like.
No, not tonight.
I loved of how they said that. Cause it was like they're trying to be like, no, we don't want to, not tonight.
Yeah, it's very like Captain America, "No, I don't think I will." I don't think so." Yeah,
uh,
that was good. I love this era of horror movies,
oh yeah.
um, that were just they're so
Mhm.
silly,
Yeah,
but, so funny at the same time,
it's
like, actually funny,
like
and they
these
mean
are
to be.
these are films that I'm never gonna get scared by these, but but I enjoy watching them because they're just so ridiculous.
Mhm. Yeah.
And like when I'm watching them, I want everyone to die just because I want the cool kills.
Well, and it seems like too that in this time period, it seems like in most horror movies, most of the people kinda suck except for, like, your
Yeah.
main antagonist or your main
Oh
protagonist.
yeah.
And I think that's what they tried to do with Judy here, but I don't know, like, she was fine, she was a good person, she
Mhm.
didn't do anything wrong, but, I don't know, I didn't feel for her like I feel like I
Mhm.
should have.
Yeah, she also
Um,
I don't think she had a terribly like unique personality at all.
right.
Also, all which I feel like that probably kind of doesn't help with the feelings of like you're not sure how to feel about her.
Yeah, and I feel like they kinda tried it a little bit, like, they were trying to build her up as a very good person that maybe they wanted as kind of like a conquest for the demons, like, "Well, we want the good girl, the one who does all the right things," because she's like, I'm not doing this with you, Jay. And she was helping for the homeless or a soup kitchen or something. But it was just very, very tiny little tidbits where it could have been just a tiny bit more um, to help establish that. But like for what it was fine. I actually was more rooting for Roger and Sal towards the end because even though Sal seemed like kind of a jerk at the beginning, which I'm sure he was kind of the only one that was like, these people are weird. I'm getting out of here. And Roger
Yeah.
actually did get out of there as far as he could go. So
Oh
I like
yeah.
the level headed people in a horror movie.
Mhm.
I always root for them.
I thought it was funny when the dudes tried to get Roger to be on their side by telling him, "Oh, we don't want a good little boy like you.
Yeah.
We just want the girl."
Yeah. And it was like, sure, sure you do. Because they also said, like, we have plans for you, right? For
Oh,
him.
the only thing I can think about that what they might have meant with that is like maybe they needed somehow the fact that he is a priest's son.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
he
His
said he
dad
was a
was,
pre. Yeah, he said. So I'm wondering if somehow they needed like maybe a there's something special maybe about his blood or something or
mhm.
just like so. I'm that's all I could think of why they might be particularly wanting him.
Yeah, that's a good point. I forgot that he said his dad, he was like, we don't mess around with this stuff, guys. Like, I think this is a bad idea.
So,
Yeah. Good on you, Roger.
so is there anything else you want to talk about with film, or is it about all?
I
I
mean,
think
that's
it's
about it.
yeah,
I'm
yeah. I think
definitely it piqued my interest to watch the
yeah,
next one though.
yeah.
Because it's gotta be fun.
I bet at the oh, I wouldn't be surprised. Just like with most horror sequels, I wouldn't be surprised if as if the ratings are lower
Oh,
on it.
yeah. I didn't even think to look that up. Do you know what its
I
rating is?
I'm pretty sure this one is like a 6.5 or something out of 10 on
Oh,
IMDb, but
wow.
I'm not sure about the sequels.
Actually, a 6.5 on IMDb isn't
Oh yeah,
terrible.
no, it's not. It's not bad. Bad. Let's see. The second one is 5.9 out of 10 on IMDb. And the third one has 4.5 out of 10 on IMDb.
Oh, no.
And and
It
then
looks like the
the
original has a 46% on Rotten Tomatoes.
yeah. It, and then the reboot has a 4.6 out of 10 on
Oh,
IMDb.
no. So it's worse?
Yeah.
Or maybe just more people have seen it
Yeah,
because
possibly.
it's more recent. And I'm looking at these movie posters of 1, 2, and 3 from back in the day.
Hmm.
I remember seeing these on the shelf at the video rental store that we used to have when I was a kid. We didn't
Hmm.
have, what was the other one? The Blockbuster?
Yeah.
Was that the big one?
Blockbuster.
We didn't
Blockbuster
have
is a big
that.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't have that in my small town, but we had one. And I remember walking through the horror section and feeling like, ooh, creepy because I was little. But I remember seeing, especially the second one, because there's like a picture of it looks like the creepy girl or the witchy
Hmm.
girl from the first one. And she's
Yeah.
like eating a sucker, but it's a skull instead of a
Mhm.
sucker. And I very vividly remember that picture from childhood. That's
Nice.
crazy.
I also I miss honestly video stores because there was just a special feeling going to video
Mhm.
stores instead of like it makes watching movies now so boring that we have them just at their fingertips now.
Yeah, it's almost limitless and so immediate. There was
Yeah,
something exciting about, like, do you wanna
yeah,
go rent a movie on Friday night, you know?
yeah.
Yeah, I
Like
agree.
I feel like it used to be like it's a big family thing having a movie night. Now it's
Mhm.
just, do you want to put on a movie?
And then, like, I know my husband and I end up looking at our phones half the time anyway,
Hmm.
unless we're watching something really
I
important.
yeah. Like I've honestly noticed that for me the best way to be able I can watch something and actually be able to pay attention to it is if I watch it on my phone because
Hmm.
because then I'm both uh doing something with my hands by holding the phone, and I'm watching a movie and I'm not distracted by something else.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I never thought of that before.
Yeah.
I need to start doing that. But one thing, there's kind of a workaround because sometimes I'll like watch a YouTube video and you can make it smaller on your phone screen and then do something else in the
Uh,
meantime. So I'd have to stop myself from doing that.
mhm.
It's almost like my attention over time has gotten more erratic for
Uh,
some reason.
yeah, not surprised, but after that, I have a lot of trouble with the attention when I'm watching stuff. So I tried every night. I go to the living room and watch some stuff with my mom, just to be nice to her. But like I can't pay attention to anything that I'm watching when I'm doing that because I'm like because I have to get on my phone.
Yeah. It's weird. It's almost like a reflex now.
Hmm. Uh,
These kids these days.
well, before we end this off, do you want me to say something in announcer voice?
Oh man. Hold on. I had a
Uh,
really good quote earlier that I forgot about. Yes, I do. Do you want me to put it in the chat?
yes, please.
That's what I'm going to do. All right. Can I preface this by who said it?
Okay.
So this was like when the guy and girl who were together, the ones that got their like neck snapped and their arm chopped off when they were finding a place to be alone.
So, oh, so I never made it in a coffin before.
What a weird way to say that.
Yeah.
I never made it in a coffin before.
Oh,
Made it?
that reminds me of earlier in the film of how the one guy gets annoyed that he got scared by Sal in the coffin, and
Oh yeah.
then Judy's just like, you were about to do the same thing.
Yeah, she was right.
I love that.
These guys are just toxic guys, a
Oh
lot of
yeah,
them.
yeah,
Ugh.
they are. Oh man.
I couldn't
Uh,
understand why that one girl was hanging out with, was it Stooge, the pig mask
yeah,
guy? I
Stooge.
couldn't understand why she hung out with him. He was so mean to her. Like he
Mm.
called her a stupid bitch 2 or 3 times,
Yeah,
made
like they
fun of
were
her.
like I particularly like during the times that they were driving together. It was like, oh my
Hmm.
god, dude.
Yeah, he was just a really bad person.
Oh yeah.
Really bad person.
Oh man. And, I'm interested like when he went to go follow the girl to the bathroom the like after she closed the door, he went to go look at something and got scared by it. I was it
Hmm.
her in the mirror when she was looking in the mirror saying I because
It looked
or
like It looked like a hole in the wall kind of, but there were, like, these weird strips of fabric hanging, and it almost looked like something reached out from
oh,
behind it,
okay.
but they never really
Yeah,
followed
because
up.
he acted normal after getting scared by that.
Yeah,
So it was weird.
that was weird. I forgot about that, and maybe he just kind of explained it away in his head, like, "Well, the wind,
Uh,
this place is falling apart anyway." Old houses tend to be creepy anyway, to a
yeah,
point.
and I bet it would be even more creepy being in an old abandoned funeral parlor.
Yeah, I don't understand. Like, I would never go to a party at an old abandoned house, first of all, and it's
Oh
not
yeah.
because I would be scared of ghosts or whatever, but, like, those floors are probably rotted through, it's falling apart, like, you're gonna fall through the floor and break your legs. No, there's, like,
Like
asbestos coming out of the walls, lead paint,
oh
I
yeah.
don't know. That's not where I wanna be.
I I get creeped out just being in a funeral parlor when it is open. I definitely don't want to be at a funeral parlor that's closed.
Yeah, where the guy was, like, messing with the bodies and killed his own family, no.
Yeah.
No, thanks. I'm
Oh.
good. Even, like, real haunted houses, not real, but, like, the ones that actors work at,
Mhm.
um, I went to one last year and it was so scary, and I love scary stuff, and, like, you get this crazy feeling after you're done where your adrenaline is just like, you
Mm.
just feel like you ran a marathon, not that I know what that feels like, but, um, it's exhilarating for people who do like that kinda stuff like me, but I even like, watching so much scary stuff and listening to true crime stuff, I get kind of paranoid even at those because I'm like, what if a real serial killer is hiding here and he's using it as a disguise to work at a haunted house to really kill people, you know? And I kind of have to push that out of my mind.
That would make for a great horror film. He's
I
in
feel
a
like that's been
fake
a horror film.
haunted house.
Yeah. I feel like isn't like Hill House LLC, isn't that kinda, but I feel like that was more supernatural.
I don't
That's
know.
like a real big indie something, I don't know, but, um, you know that that's come across people's
Uh,
minds, right?
uh, oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Oh, yeah. I've never gotten to go to a haunted house before. I want to try one of those at some point because I feel like that would be so fun.
Yeah, I, curse a lot when I'm scared, which I curse a lot in general, but, especially when I'm scared, and I remember this one guy was dressed kinda like a skeleton dude, and I said something not nice to him, I guess, and, he just kinda looked at me and shook his head and said, "You need to go to church." I was like, "I'm sorry," and they would scare me once, and then I would just say, "Okay, you got me, okay, okay, okay," and then I'd just keep my eyes on 'em because they would keep coming at you, like, they'd let you calm down, and then they come right back, um, but as long as you don't swing on 'em, you're good. Yeah. Don't hurt the actors.
Yeah, I was talking about my mom the other week about that because I was like, never gotten to go to something like that before, or and she told me about. I'm pretty sure she was saying that when she was younger she had gone to one and she actually did accidentally hit one of them because of how scared
Yeah,
she was. It was like,
yeah.
oh my god.
I can commiserate because I did that to my husband one time. He jumped out and scared me, and I socked him in the stomach. And it was not because I was mad at him. It was because it was an automatic reflex, you know? um, so I kind of like hunched myself up, closed in my body during the haunted house to keep myself from doing something like that and used my words instead. I was very verbally abusive, which is not great, but
Uh,
better
uh,
than assault.
well, is there any final thing you'd like to say before I end this off?
No, I'm glad it's spooky season. I love watching spooky
Oh,
things all year round, but especially now. Um, I don't know. I really enjoy watching stuff like this because it's hard to find a scary
mm,
movie that I haven't seen. So I'm
oh,
glad that you suggested this one because it was something I'd never heard of, and it was a fun watch. It was an
oh.
interesting watch and a fun watch.
Yeah, I wanted to have at least one of the spooky things I did this month beside that's in this kind of campy 80s Halloween horror sort of thing.
Hmm.
I'm really glad that I chose this one because this worked out really well for that.
Yeah, love a camp.
Oh yeah. But yeah, I honestly think hey, if you want to find stuff that you haven't ever seen before or heard about, um particularly look for just like look for these horror things on Google, but particularly like say indie and then and because like I found so many things I haven't ever seen before because or that a lot of them I'm reviewing this month on
Hmm.
but just because I was looking for indie stuff because I'm not trying to do anything from any of the big companies, so so
Hmm.
that really helped to find lots of stuff that I've never seen before.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good idea. I'll have to do that because I'm
Uh,
running out of stuff. Running out.
mhm. And there's definitely like some gems in there to and watch like this. I'm really excited for next week's episode, which I'm pretty sure actually will be coming out on Halloween. And I'll be doing the blood sucking bastards as vampire copies like starring Pedro Pascal.
Oh,
I
I
feel like
love that
that's gonna be a lot
man.
of fun. Oh my
Absolutely.
god.
Wait, so he's in that?
Yes.
Oh, fantastic. I'm gonna have to watch that.
Yeah.
I'll watch anything with him in it.
Yeah, it is a vampire horror comedy that's like set in a workplace, and I'm pretty sure or Pedro Pascal plays the boss who has become a vampire.
Mm,
Yeah,
nice.
I've
You've given me something to watch tonight.
yeah. Uh, well, check out the Going Merry podcast. Ask for more of Whitney. She's always a lot of fun to have as a guest. So thank you for coming on.
Thanks, John. I
Um,
appreciate you
yeah,
asking.
yeah. And so thank you everyone for listening. If you like this scam analysis, please give a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or a 5-star rating on Spotify. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this episode, so please let me know. And if you'd like to listen to more from me, please subscribe. Many more gamma analysis from me coming, so keep on the lookout. This again is your host, Smash Ray John, signing off.